Hey everybody, I'm JimClassic and you are watching Geekin, and for today's video, I would like to talk about the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition number 9, Ratchet. That's right, Ratchet from both the War and Fall of Cybertron video games from, what was it, Moon Studios? Back in, 2012, and then, yeah, around that time. Anyway. So, Ratchet has been a figure I have been wanting for a very long time. He is one of my favorite Transformers, and I'm really happy to finally have a War for Cybertron version of him. So, let's talk about the package real quick. It is an open box. You can put your hand in there. You can feel the toy. I got this directly off of Big Bad Toy Store, so no risk of anyone ripping the heads off, but, you know, open figure. We have the nice box art here of, pre-Earth Cybertronian Ratchet. Close-up of his face on the side. Nice picture of him on the other side. And Transformers War for Cybertron. Yep, Transformers War for Cybertron. And product shot on the back. That's enough about the box. Let's open this guy up and see what he is all about. As I said, Gamer Edition Ratchet is a figure I was hoping to see for a very long time. Like I said, as far back as 2012. Especially since back then I think we only had Universe Ratchet, and as I stated before, he's not exactly a prize. Taking Ratchet out of the package, well, he is mostly made out of white unpainted plastic with some red paint apps and the lifeline meter on his shoulders. There's also a teeny tiny Autobot symbol right below the windshield. I really do love Ratchet's disproportional arms. They kind of remind me of Popeye the Sailor Man's a little bit. And the toy overall has some really neat angles. This guy is definitely not the blocky bot that, let's say, Earthrise or 86 Ratchet is. The War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron designs definitely had a unique look to them. Not that I'm complaining, I think this is a good look for Ratchet, but he definitely has some interesting lines and shapes going on. It's nice to have that rarely seen red helmet with white chevron. I think you mostly saw this particular Ratchet in the old Marvel comics and maybe some of the old kids' books, but it's nice to see a return to it. Like, this is just a classic old-style Ratchet motif that you just don't see too often. And on top of that, just look at that angular and scowling face sculpt. It really heralds back to, Transformers Prime and Transformers Animated, where he was just like old and cynical and a little bitter. Ratchet will put you back together, but he'll complain the entire time. And I gotta say, those blue eyes, they just pop. In a figure that is pretty much white and red, that touch of blue just really stands out. The figure can pose quite well. However, Ratchet's chest and spine do have a habit of untabbing. And basically, he spaghettis apart. It can be pretty frustrating at times, but it does peg in and it doesn't peg in. I think it all depends on how I'm handling it, and sometimes I think the way I'm handling it, I accidentally unpeg it, so I'm not sure if it's design or user error. Ratchet, unfortunately, doesn't have pivoting ankles. It's just, I don't know, it's just part of the transformation or it's just part of the design. However, the toes can pivot up and down. It's not really all that helpful, and, well, sometimes it does hinder him being able to stand properly. I'd like to make a quick correction here. Yes, Ratchet does have an ankle tilt. It is right there, or the hinge is right there. It's a bit of a tough one. But yeah, we do have, what is that, 90-degree rotation right there. And right there. It's a bit awkward. I just didn't notice it at first. But yeah, he does have full ankle tilt. He does have issues standing still because I don't like his heels. But it does have full ankle tilt. Ratchet comes with two weapons. One is the battle axe, which is huge. And kind of funny to see him, of all characters, wielding something like this. Basically, he's Ratchet the Barbarian Doctor. But it's cool. The axe separates in two pieces, allowing you to thread the handle through his closed fist, so you can attach the axe head to the handle. And it resembles an old battle axe, but with Cybertronian greeblies. It looks pretty good. However, I'm not really a fan of the solid plastic. For something like an Energon axe, I think clear plastic makes perfect sense. But this is either a missed opportunity on Hasbro's part or a sign this line is on a budget. Now, he does come with another weapon, and it is, well, I don't remember it exactly. I don't remember what it did at all in the Fall of Cybertron game, but it is, again, the brown plastic, same as the axe head, and it has this little white thing, which is on a mushroom peg, so it's a two-piece thing. And what you do is you take the gun, you take the arm right off the peg, and then you're gonna, this piece right here, this overlap is gonna go over top of the wheel, and it just pegs right there. And Ratchet has his, I don't know, weapon, whatever it was. I mean, let's just assume it's a medical tool. Let's just assume this is his weapon, and this is his repair tool right there, but it looks pretty good. And I like how it kind of integrates, like, it's covering up the wheel, it's coming out of the arm, whatever. Now, the cool thing is, and you don't see this very often with these Studio Series figures, so you don't just discard the hand here, you don't just parts form it away into non-existence, you open up the backpack, and there's a little tab right there, and there's a little slot right there at the spine, and you're just going to kind of slide it in right there. And then you close this thing up, you tab it back into the shoulder blades, and guess what? His arm is nicely stored away, and you don't have to worry about losing it. That is brilliant. This backpack is not only, I guess, not intrusive, it's not a terrible backpack, but it also serves a purpose of actual storage, and that is brilliant. The gun arm is 5mm compatible. However, with the claws jutting out, only the most narrow of blast effects could possibly be wedged into it. Okay, so the weapon's inability to really utilize blast effects is definitely disappointing, but I mean, that's not really all you can do. I mean, sticking with Ratchet's weaponry for just a minute, you can take the battle axe apart, and you could plug the weapon into the 5mm port. I don't really know if this makes it better or worse. I mean, I suppose it turns it into like some kind of a sniper rifle weapon. I'm not gonna lie, this is not my favorite version. But, I mean, you could just take the whole gun arm off and place the axe head directly onto the stump, which, I don't know. I think I actually like that. That definitely plays into my earlier joke of Ratchet the Barbarian Doctor. I dig that. That's actually really cool. Of course, you can hook up other weapons, such as Bumblebee's little arm cannon, though it's really tight. There. It's a little rinky-dink, but it does do the job. Optimus Prime's does not fit at all on here, and I think it's mostly because of the wheel on the elbow, but yeah, Optimus's does not fit on Ratchet, which that's kind of a letdown. But you could also plug in Megatron's Energon mace. Oh no, you can't. I thought you could. Nope, never mind. I take it back. You cannot attach the mace. But let's go back to the axe head. That looks pretty awesome. Okay, that you can get some pretty good action shots and stuff. Another really cool thing that I love about this figure that Ratchet has that the other Gamer Edition figures don't seem to have. Not only does this gun interlock with Ratchet's arm, but also there's a 5mm peg there, and Ratchet can literally hold this like a handgun. And I really, really, really wish the other Gamer Edition figures had this option, because, okay, sure, the integrated feature is kind of cool. Alright, it looks good on Ratchet at least. I don't really like how it looks on Optimus all that much, but it looks good on Ratchet, and yes, this is how it looked in the game, of course, I understand that, but I also like this option of a handheld weapon. This is cool, this is kind of needed, I think, and it would have made the other figures better. Like, yeah, okay, keep the integrated weaponry, sure, but just add a little 5mm peg, and then you got yourself a little handheld gun. I mean, why can't these other ones have that? That would be amazing. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. Here we have Optimus Prime in robot mode, and Bumblebee right there. Cliff Jumper is right there, and last but not least, we also have Fall of Cybertron Jazz, which is right there. Now, at least robot mode-wise, is a bit taller than Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, but yeah, no, this is a great setup. I cannot wait for them to get around to doing Jazz. That would be amazing. But yeah, this is a nice setup here. all these Studio Series Gamer Edition figures are coming along really nicely, and I am very happy about that. And here we have Gamer Edition Ratchet hanging out with Siege Ratchet, Earthrise Ratchet, and Studio Series 86 Ratchet. The only Ratchet I forgot to add was, well, I didn't bring the Universe Ratchet because he's a piece of crap, and I kind of forgot Shattered Glass Ratchet, but he is elsewhere. Anyway, all these Ratchets look great. Studio Series Gamer Edition is really cool. I dig this guy a lot. But looking at all these different versions of Ratchet, I do have to say, we need more versions of Ratchet with the red head and the white crest. You know, granted, 86 Ratchet is fantastic. Earthrise is decent. Siege is still on fire. I love the Siege version. But mainly, maybe because of the accessories. I don't know. But, you know, I want to see, actually what I would like to see, since there is the comic edition Shockwave, which is a video I will be getting to eventually. That's in the works. You know, but we got comic version, Marvel Comics Shockwave. We got Straxus. We got comic book Straxus and Grimlock. And I would like to see comic book Ratchet with like the red hat and the red briefs, and you know, just I would like to see comic book Ratchet. He was an important part of the Marvel Comics, especially since like if they were to do a 2-pack with him and Megatron, because those two faced off in the comics like what, 3 times, and somehow Ratchet got away every time, or almost every time, but he survived every experience just about. I almost forgot to mention the cardboard background scene that you can display Ratchet on. It's a scene from the High Moon Studios game. I don't remember what part of the game, but it's dark and it's robotic and nondescript, and I'm probably not going to keep this. Anyway, we're going to transform him into his vehicle mode. So, what we do here is we're going to start by moving up the shoulder panels. Now, this is the part where we kind of spaghetti him a little bit. He's going to open up this backpack right there. We're going to kind of move his body up like this, and these shoulder pieces we're going to start from the beginning. I fucked up. I already fucked up. So we'll do that from the beginning. There we go. Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1. Now that I have Ratchet standing up again, I'm going to transform him into his vehicle mode. So this is the part where we really actually want to disassemble the backpack and kind of spaghetti him a little bit. All right, that's where this is what we want to do. So, all right, in the act of removing it, the head has already been pushed down. The head rises and falls. You want the head down. Now, these shoulder pieces, we kind of want them a little bit out of the way, and we want this tab right there to tab in to right there. So we move it up like that. We tab it up like kind of... God damn it. We're going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. I want to do this in one flawless thing and not like, I need to. I need to start, doing a better job with my videos here for transformations. All right. All right, 3, 2, 1. Now that I got Ratchet standing up again, we're going to transform him into his vehicle mode. So what you want to start with is now we can disassemble the figure and kind of spaghetti him out a little bit. Might also open up these flaps, just get that out of the way right now. We can push the head down. It only doesn't go down far, but just goes down a little bit just to clear the hood here. Now, we want the shoulder pads up and out of the way, and that means these shoulder pieces have to be rotated and moved around. So there's a hinge right here at the bicep. We're gonna open up that hinge right there, fold out the arm. We're gonna put the shoulder piece right there, and it's gonna tab right there on each side. So tab it right there. It's a little weird. I feel like I'm bending the plastic a little bit, but it seems to be fine. Again, we're gonna, fold the hinge right there. We are going to tab. See, this is where it gets a little. I feel like I have to force it a little bit, and I don't like that. There we go. And you saw that. I don't know if you saw it, but the plastic bent a little bit, so it's a little thin. So we rotate that. Now that we have the body out and kind of spaghettied, we kind of want that. We want the front of the vehicle mode to go out like that. And in that case, the shoulder pads are going to go down like this and kind of overlap the torso area, and they kind of just slide right into place like that. We rotate the shoulder panel, slides it right in there. And that was tricky. That actually confused me for a minute because the instructions that Ratchet came with didn't really convey that clearly, in my opinion. I think I had to watch a Bolt Matrix video, or it was either Bolt Matrix or MGO. I don't remember which one now, but I had to watch a video to figure out where this went. So, but anyway, it just kind of locks into place right there with the torso. So with the arms, we're going to keep pushing everything down, and there's a little slot right there and a tab right there. So that's going to slot and tab in place. Ditto right here, slot and tab in place. And now we put the hood down, and there's a little tab right there above the hood, a little tab right there in the chest. And these pieces kind of lock in. They seem a little loose, but here we have that so far. Now for the legs, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing some rotations and some unfoldings. We're going to start by rotating the waist 180 degrees, and then we're going to rotate the legs below the knees like so. And just for the heck of it, let's just point the toes right now. So start with this leg. Start with any leg you want, really, but we're going to open up, right here, all right, the shin. The shin opens up like so, and then all these pieces start falling out. There's like a double hinge right there, so kind of double hinge that out. This piece here rotates out, and yes, it rotates and it goes. Now this is actually something that really annoys me a lot more than the spaghetti spine. These pieces come off very easily. This thing does not really hold this part in place very well. But you kind of, it's on a hinge, you hinge it, and then you rotate it, and you push it down that way. This piece folds out, and we're going to do the same thing for this one. Pop open the hinge. Pop open the shin. I don't know why I said hinge. Pop open the shin. Again, we have the double hinge right there. This rotates. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep doing that the wrong way. It rotates, but we hinge it, and then there we go. That's how we do it. Sorry. This piece opens up like so. And now we hinge here at the knee to fold everything in on itself. So see how it's kind of coming together a little bit. This piece is going to go right here and kind of slot underneath the canopy area. And the same thing for here. And this is going to slot under there. But now everything has to kind of lock together. We have to. Oh, what's going on here? Why is this thing fighting me? What is happening here, guys? Ratchet, what are you doing? Now, why did I kick that out? That's never happened before. It's being a little bit difficult, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've already done a few practice transformations, and this is a first. But anyway, I think I got everything locked back up. I think something was a little bit out of alignment. But I guess I'm doing this part next, because even though I didn't really want to. But we're going to tab these pieces together. And now all of a sudden they don't want to tab it. What is happening here? That's weird. It's kind of, this thing is kind of fighting me a little bit, and I promise you, I did like 2 or 3 practice transformations, and everything was fine, and now all of a sudden Ratchet is just putting up the biggest fight. So, anyway, Everything's tabbing together. You tab it together. Oh my god, what are you doing? Ratchet, we're on camera, alright? There's an audience. People are watching. Alright? People are not rooting for me to fail. Oh, maybe they are, I don't know, but I'm not rooting for us to fail. Oh my gosh, why are you fighting me? There! What's the problem? What the heck was happening here? Oh, this is coming unpegged. Why is everything happening here? There we go. That was already... Now, nope. Stay in there. That was already tabbed in. Don't go popping out on me. Weird. Okay. Weird behavior, Ratchet. Weird behavior. Alright, now this goes... There. Alright. I don't know why he gave me such a hard time. And this popped out again. Oh, God, dude, just stop. Ratchet, some self-respect, man. There we go. Okay. Everything looks like it's locked in. Finally. I don't know what happened. But anyway, here we have Ratchet in vehicle mode. I'm sorry that took so damn long. The transformation is mostly an easy affair. The legs converting to the rear of the van does trip me up a little bit. No pun intended. And there are some tabbing issues in certain areas, but it's overall not a bad transformation. The vehicle mode is definitely Cybertronian, and it does fit with the aesthetic of the Fall of Cybertron game. The van, I keep calling it a van, the ambulance itself is overall gives me kind of a rounded vibe to it, but there's a lot of hard angles, especially in the fenders, and on the roof has a lot of cool greebly bits, so it kind of breaks it up a little bit, and you might not notice it unless you're looking at it from a profile. But overall, I mean, I think the ambulance mode looks really cool. I really like the grill section in the front of the ambulance, and the deco is very simple. It is white with some red paint and some dark gray for the windows. It's simple. You do see the lifeline symbol on the sides of the ambulance, and the double Autobot symbol in the front is a bit odd. Is that how it looked in the game? All right, I guess. Again, much like the Energon axe, I think there could have been some clear plastic for the light bars. It would have been nice, and I have a feeling that for these Studio Series gamer figures, they're on a bit of a budget, and that's the only reason why I can think of that no clear plastic is included in any of these guys. Still, it's a solid ambulance mode, and it rolls really well. The weapon storage in vehicle mode is that you just kind of peg it onto the bumper on the back. I'm not a big fan of that personally. I don't think it looks good. Why does it have to be on the back? Why couldn't there be a dedicated weapon storage to the roof of the truck? There's a little tab right there. It looks like it would have fit that right there, but it really doesn't. But that would have been perfect. That would have been really good. Then you would have had, like, the medical device sitting on top of the roof of the ambulance so that he can, like, I don't know, whatever Cybertronian medics do. Rescue, resuscitate while driving. I don't know, but the storage back here, I mean, yeah, it works. It holds pretty well. I think it would have been a lot better like this. I'm pretty sure in the original game you could use your weapons in vehicle mode, so I just don't see why this wasn't an option. I mean, it looks like it could work, too. But it just doesn't. Oh. Just doesn't tab in at all. Oh well. What a pity. I totally forgot about the battle axe. That's what pegs on the roof of the vehicle mode. I absolutely hate this. Alright, starting with Studio Series Gamer Edition Optimus Prime, Studio Series Gamer Edition Bumblebee. There. Studio Series Gamer Edition Cliffjumper, which, okay, fine, it's the same thing. And Fall of Cybertron Jazz, which is smaller than Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, but, yeah, whatever. This is not a Studio Series version, this is a retail version from, like, 2012. But either way, I still kind of like that Jazz figure, and I'm hoping we get a Studio Series Gamer Edition Jazz. You know, he's one of my favorite Autobots, and this is a pretty sick off mode, and he's one of my favorite Autobots, and this is a pretty sick Cybertronian vehicle mode. But anyway, All of these vehicles scale pretty well with Gamer Edition Ratchet. And just for the heck of it, here we have Siege Ratchet. And last but not least, here we have Studio Series 86 Ratchet. And, well, obviously these two look more like the Ratchet that we're used to than this guy, but, you know, all three of these vehicle modes are actually pretty cool. I unironically like the Siege mold. Yeah. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up my review of Studio Series Gamer Edition Ratchet. You know, with Ironhide just around the corner, I believe he's in the shelves now. We'll probably be getting a similar experience to that figure, except he'll be getting a different gun and a different head sculpt, and that's just about it. Yeah, but this has been a fun review. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely hoping one day we're going to get a Studio Series Gamer Edition Jazz, and preferably Warpath, too. I wouldn't mind seeing him actually get a Fall of Cybertron toy treatment, and well, quite frankly, if Hasbro is going to commit to these Studio Series Gamer Edition figures, I'm wondering how they're going to address this big guy. Anyway, that's been my thoughts on Gamer Edition Ratchet. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on the figure. I'm JimClassic. You have been watching Geekin' It, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Perhaps I'll talk about him next.